Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. What happens when the most powerful man in the room finally breaks and the one person he needs most is already walking away? So, today's episode of Beyond the Gates delivers something we honestly don't see very often. Bill, the man who's built his entire identity around control, dominance, and unshakable authority, is suddenly forced into a position where none of that works anymore. And the reason? Thomas, the one person who has always been steady, loyal, and quietly essential to everything Bill has created, is finally done. What starts as a tense conversation quickly escalates into something far deeper, far more emotional, and honestly kind of heartbreaking because this isn't just about a job. This is about trust, identity, and the cost of staying loyal to someone who may have gone too far. From the very beginning of this storyline, you can feel that something is off. Thomas isn't the same anymore, he's quieter, more withdrawn, and there's this lingering tension in every scene he's in. You can almost see it in his eyes. The conflict, the exhaustion, the way he's constantly weighing his next move like every decision could cost him a piece of himself. And let's be real, that kind of internal struggle doesn't just come out of nowhere. It builds slowly, painfully. Thomas has always respected Bill, that much is clear. He admired his ambition, his ability to dominate any situation, his refusal to lose. But admiration has a breaking point, and what once felt inspiring has now started to feel dangerous. Because when someone is willing to win at all costs, eventually those costs start affecting the people around them. And Thomas, he's been carrying the weight for a long time. Meanwhile, Bill is completely out of sync with what's really happening. He notices the distance. Sure, he sees that Thomas isn't as engaged, that something feels different. But instead of digging deeper, instead of asking the hard questions, she brushes it off. He tells himself it's temporary, stress, pressure, something that will pass. Because in Bill's world, loyalty doesn't just disappear. Once someone proves themselves, they are locked in forever. But that's where he's wrong. Because loyalty isn't unconditional, not when it starts costing you your integrity. And then we get to that moment. The scene, the one that changes everything. Thomas walks into Bill's office and right away he can feel the shift. This isn't the same dynamic we have seen 100 times before. Thomas isn't there to report, to advise, or to follow instructions. No, this time he's in control, and it's subtle, but it's powerful. The way he carries himself, the calmness in his expression, it's not anger, it's something stronger, certainty. And when he says it, I'm resigning, it doesn't come out shaky or hesitant. It's steady, final, like he's already walked away in his mind. Bill's reaction, pure shock. For a split second, he just freezes, and you can tell his brain is trying to catch up, trying to make sense of something that doesn't fit into his reality. Thomas doesn't leave. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works, but it is. And now he has to deal with it. So he does what he always does. He leans in, he starts asking questions, pushing, probing, trying to find the weak point in Thomas' decision because in Bill's world, every choice can be negotiated, every situation can be controlled if you just apply enough pressure. Except this time, it doesn't work. Thomas doesn't flinch. He doesn't backtrack. He doesn't give Bill anything to manipulate. Instead, he explains calmly but firmly that he can't keep going like this, that the cost has become too high, and you can hear it in his voice. This isn't just about work, this is personal, deeply personal. Imagine being in Thomas' position for a second. Imagine waking up every day knowing that the person you are standing beside, the person you have supported through everything, is asking you directly or indirectly to compromise who you are, to cross lines you never thought you would. That kind of pressure doesn't just go away. It builds until you either break or you walk away. And Thomas chooses to walk. Now here's where things get really intense. Because for the first time, Bill feels something he's not used to. Not anger, not frustration, fear. Real fear, not the kind that comes from losing power or money or influence. No, this is different. This is the fear of losing someone who actually matters, someone who knows him beyond the surface, someone who's been there through everything. And suddenly, all of Bill's usual tactics feel useless. The intimidation gone, the charm ineffective, the confidence cracking. The resignation letter sitting on the desk becomes more than just a piece of paper. It's a symbol, a final line, a decision that Bill can't just override. And then it happens. That moment, the one that changes how we see Bill forever. He breaks, not in a dramatic, explosive way, not with shouting or anger. No, it's quieter than that. More raw, more real. He stands up, and you can hear it in his voice. That edge, that sharpness we are so used to, it's gone, replaced by something almost unrecognizable, desperation. And when he says those words, please don't leave me like this, it hits differently because this isn't Bill the powerful leader speaking. This is the Bill the man, stripped of all his defenses, all his control, all the layers he's built to protect himself. It's vulnerable, it's honest, and honestly, it's kind of shocking. Thomas is stunned, and can you blame him? He's never seen this side of Bill. No one has. This is the same man who commands rooms without even trying, who bends situation to his will, who never ever lets people see him weak. But right now, he's not hiding anything. And for a moment, you can see it. Thomas hesitates because no matter how strong his principles are, no matter how certain he was walking into that office, this changes things. It shakes something loose because their relationship isn't just professional. It never has been. There is history there, trust, shared experiences that go way beyond contracts and business deals. Bill takes it even further. He steps closer, and now he's not just asking Thomas to stay. He's admitting why he needs him. Not as an employee, not as an asset, but as a person, someone he trusts, someone who keeps him grounded. And you can tell this isn't calculated. This isn't strategy. It's real. Thomas looks at the later, then back at Bill, and you can practically hear the war going on inside his head because now it's not just about right and wrong. It's about connection, loyalty, everything they have been through together. Outside the office, the tension spreads. People can feel it. Something big is happening. And the idea of Thomas living, it's not just a personal loss for Bill. It's a structural one. It could destabilize everything. But inside that room, time slows down. Thomas finally speaks again, and his voice isn't as firm as before. There's doubt now, conflict. He acknowledges what Bill said and the sincerity behind it, but he doesn't let go of his core issue. This isn't just about loyalty, it's about being able to live with himself. And that line that hits hard, because it reminds us that sometimes, no matter how strong a bond is, it's not enough to justify losing who you are. Bill listens, and that might be the most surprising part of all. He doesn't interrupt, he doesn't argue, he just listens, really listens, and in that moment, you realize he's changing. Maybe not completely, maybe not permanently, but something is shifting. Now everything comes down to one question: is it too late? Thomas picks up the resignation later, and that simple action feels massive. Like the entire future is sitting in his hands. One choice and everything changes. And Bill? He doesn't say another word because for once he knows this isn't his decision to make. This moment is huge, not just for the storyline, but for both characters. For Bill, this is a turning point. It forces him to confront something he's avoided for a long time: the consequences of his actions on the people closest to him. He can't just demand loyalty without considering what it costs the other person. And for the first time, he's being forced to face that reality head on. For Thomas, this is about identity, about drawing a line and deciding who he wants to be. Regardless of the pressure around him, it's not easy walking away from something you have built, from someone you care about, but sometimes staying costs more than living. And the biggest impact, the power dynamic shifts completely because now Bill isn't the one in control. Thomas is. and that changes everything moving forward. Honestly, this scene gave me chills. I never thought we would see Bill like this, ever, and the fact that it didn't feel forced or out of character makes it even better. It felt earned, like all the tension, all the build-up finally paid off in a way that was emotional instead of explosive. And Thomas, I respect him so much for standing his ground. Because let's be real, it's easy to stay. It's comfortable walking away, especially from something this big, takes serious strength. But what really got me is that hesitation. That moment where you can see he's not as sure anymore. Because that's real, that's human. Decisions like this aren't clean or simple. They're messy, complicated, emotional, and I'm honestly torn. Part of me wants Thomas to live and protect himself, but another part of me wants them to find a way to fix this. Because what they have, it's rare. So now the question is, what would you do? If you were Thomas, would you walk away and choose yourself, even if it means leaving everything behind? Or will you stay, hoping that this moment, this vulnerability from Bill, is the beginning of real change? And what about Bill? Do you think this is a genuine turning point for him, or just a moment of weakness that will fade once the crisis passes? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I really want to hear where you stand on this. And if you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss another breakdown like this.